Hi, I'm Dudu-Nhlabathi, I'm a dating coach, just in case you don't know who I am. So welcome to this week's edition of Ask Dudu, where you can ask me about your dating dilemmas, mishaps, or anything that's on your mind that's related to your love life. So first up, we have Church Girl. So Church Girl says she's been playing hide and seek with this guy for 5 months. They've had 6 months. They haven't made it official yet at church. He's promising her marriage. And she'd like to abide to the church rules, which is if you date, you have to announce it in front of the congregation. Everybody has to know about it. So she'd like to abide to the rules, and still date this guy. So the long and short of it is, you guys belong to the same church. You know the rules. Why don't you guys just make it official? Why don't you just stand in front of the congregation like you do at church and tell everybody that you're dating? I'm not sure what the dilemma is. I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm not even trying to be funny or mean about it, but it's very clear. The answer is very clear. You guys understand each other's religion. Even better, you belong to the same church. Go and stand in front of the priest. Go and tell everybody that you're dating. But I suspect that the problem is one person is not willing to do that. And if the person is not willing to do that, that's where the problem is. They could be promising marriage all they like, but if they are not required to do what is necessary to make sure that you guys have a happy and smooth relationship and you don't have to play hide and seek with everybody at church, then that's what you should be focusing on. So church is not your problem. Making it official, and the person who is supposed to, I don't know, like cooperate is not cooperating, that's where your problem is. So we're moving next to Baby Girl. So Baby Girl says she's in a long distance relationship. And she feels like communication is a problem because she's Zulu, the guy's Tsonga. And how does she know they're on the same page? So let's start with this communication problem. There are people who date and they are from foreign countries. They don't know how to speak each other's language. I mean, there must be a common language you can speak, which is maybe, I'm assuming if you guys are both South African, then you can speak English. So I don't think that communication is a problem in terms of language itself. But maybe it is the frequency of communication, or how you would like this guy to communicate with you. And I'm sensing that that's where the real problem is. Now, long distance relationships need investment from both parties. They are not very easy relationships. I mean, if you look at research, we're more likely to be attracted to people who are in close proximity with us. And the further the person is, the more difficult the relationship is. But it doesn't mean that long distance relationships don't work. And I mean, we live in a world of technology where you can FaceTime. You know, a person can feel like they're in a foreign country and they could feel like they're next door even if they're in a foreign country. So I think that's what you should be focusing on, is that how would you like this guy to communicate with you? That's the conversation that you should be having with this guy. And it's not necessarily that you guys speak different languages. And then the next person is Miss D. She says she had this boyfriend for 2 years. They broke up because he was a lousy boyfriend. Lousy boyfriend meaning that he wasn't really checking up on her. He wasn't doing his boyfriend duties. They broke up, and then 6 months later he came back. He asked for a list of things that went wrong and where can he improve. She gave him the list, and then he went back to his lousy tendencies. And one of these lousy tendencies is just to keep quiet and just be mute and disappear. I don't think he's worth it. I mean, I always tell ladies this. When you break up with somebody, men don't handle a breakup initially like women do. You know, we go through the emotions. We break up with somebody, we cry about it, we tell our friends about it, we write about it, we post motivational quotes about it. You're gonna be fine, you're gonna be strong. You go through the emotions. While a guy is like on some I'm fine, putting up a storm, or he's on to the next girl. And only a couple of months later does he deal with his emotions. And that's what he's doing. He's dealing with his emotions. Doesn't necessarily mean that when you deal with your emotion, you want the person back, or you love the person. So females are much more sophisticated when it comes to their emotions than men. And it's just the way men are socialized. Men are not supposed to cry, they're not supposed to talk about their emotions. So they deal with their emotions in a much more, I would say, primitive way as compared to females. So females, we know that, you know, when you're dealing with emotions, you will think about a person, you will miss a person and so forth, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you still love a person, because it is the habit of being with that person that you need to almost like get over the person not being around, not necessarily that you are still emotionally attached to this person. And he might be going through those emotions. And I suspect that, you know, the fact that you gave him a list and you said, do this and this, he looked at that list and he said, am I willing to invest this much into this relationship again, or into this girl? And you realized, you know what, maybe I'm just going through emotions. Doesn't necessarily mean that I want her back because I'm not willing to do these things. I think just cut your losses and let him go. I mean, you're right. If, in a sense, that if he really wants to come back and he's really serious about you, you have your requirements, you have your standard, and he needs to live up to those standards. If he doesn't, he's just not worth it. But I wouldn't put so much effort into this guy unless he starts putting effort into wanting you back. That's the only time you should give him attention. And then there's Coco, and Coco, I love your question, Coco. Coco says she doesn't want a textation. That's what they call it, right? When you text each other, but the guy really never takes you out on dates. And how does she get guys to take her out on dates without appearing pushy? Good question, love it. You know, the reason why these guys aren't taking you out on dates is because you spend too much time on text. So there's texting etiquette, and basically the rule is she who texts the least has the most power. So the problem with us females, maybe it's not a problem, it's just who we are, right? We talk a lot, and I'm one of those people who talk a lot. So a guy would text you and say, hey, how was your day? And you want to tell them about your dog, your boss, and everything else that comes with your day. And you are investing more into that conversation than he is. I always say, if you really want to stick to the rules of text of texting etiquette, is that you should text the amount of words that he texts. So if he texts you like, hey, how are you? You don't text more than a hey, how are you? Probably your next text is hey. But you should give a guy a reason to want to take you out on a date. So if everything is said via text, you're texting this guy in the morning, you're texting this guy at 4 a.m. in the morning, you hardly sleep because you're always on the phone with this guy, you're not giving him the motivation or the inspiration to want to take you out on a date. So keep your text short, keep the intervals between conversations long. So if he texts you in the morning, probably don't talk to him. I mean, you can blue tick him and whatever it is that you want to do, really. I mean, it's your phone. No one should force you to get into a conversation if you don't want to. But maybe like a 4-hour interval before you actually go into another texting marathon. That's the only way a guy is actually going to be inspired to take you out on a date, because he's going to probably think you're lousy with text. The only way I can get hold of this girl is either to call her or to see her in person. I hope that answers your question. And then there's Miss T. She says she likes this guy. She got this guy's name from somebody and she tracked him down on LinkedIn, and she really likes him and she wants to give him the green light, but she doesn't want to appear like a stalker. I also like this question because so many females have turned into stalkers / sometimes prostitutes on guys' DMs. The things I'm seeing out there are actually scary. So Miss T, this one is a tricky one, because if the guy hasn't noticed you, so for you to actually go on LinkedIn and ask him a question, you are going to appear like the stalker or the girl who's asking, can you shag me for 10,000 rands because I need 10,000 rands. Guys are a bit wary these days because the things that happen in DMs like need holy water to be sprinkled upon. I'm judging you, all of you. Sis man, woo, the things I see out there really traumatize me as a female. But I think the first thing that would probably yield you success is that if the guy actually knows you in person, like either bumps into you or, you know, gets introduced to you but knows you in person, so that by the time you initiate a conversation offline, you don't appear like a stalker. And I think that the other thing is that if you get introduced to this person in person, by the time you actually initiate a conversation via LinkedIn, you will pick a topic whereby you know it's relevant to him. So let's say, for example, you meet this guy and you guys were talking about cars or, you know, and so forth, and maybe you want to say, I want to change my tires, or I want to buy this car, and you were talking about this. What do you think? You know, and the best way in which you can get a guy, you can almost reel him in to get a guy to talk to you, is to ask him about about a topic where he is a subject matter expert, or you make him feel like he's helping you out. Guys like to be your hero. So if you're asking him, I want to buy a car, I was thinking of this car, you had mentioned this about the car, what's your view of this? He's giving you an opinion, he's coming to your rescue, and that does something to men. That's how easy men are. But I would not initiate a conversation until you've had you've seen, and he knows you. It's not like some random girl from down the road I've never heard of before. Celebrities get those all the time, and they're called fans, and you don't want to be positioned as a fan. That's it for this week. I'm Dudu-Nhlabathi Madonsela. If you have a question, please send me a question via DM, inbox, Twitter, anything that you like, and I will answer them. And if you are seeing this on my YouTube channel, my handles on all my social media platforms are Dudu-Nhlabathi Madonsela. I'm out.